Welcome to the Essence of the Soul,
a safe haven for all souls.
My name is Linda.
And my name is Paris, and welcome to our episode on shifting from the 3D to the 5D mindset. So this episode is really important, especially for the times that we are in right now. And I have a lot of people who come to me and ask me like, what do you mean when you talk about like 3D, 5D? Like, I'm not understanding like what that means, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I always say, like, when we talk about the 3D, we're talking about like the physical realm now.
Mm-hmm.
So the third dimension, D is dimension, right? So 3D is physical. This is what we live on right now, is the 3D physical realm. Us as humans, right? Our bodies are 3D.
Yes.
We physically can feel ourselves, see ourselves, and everything, right? Now we talk about 5D consciousness. Now that's more spiritual. So like a spiritual realm outside of the 3D. So first of all, I do want to say that the third dimension is kind of like the lowest dimension here. Mm-hmm. We talk about like there's lots of war, hatred, a lot of
duality,
yes,
ego, materialism,
evil.
Those are all like third dimension.
Yes, but we also have good, right? We also have like love and sharing and kindness and unity too. So it's like we have both. But how do we learn how to balance the earth realm? It's extremely hard. So kind of like on a spiritual perspective too, a lot of us do believe that humans, right, we incarnate here to learn lessons on earth school. Yes. Earth is really just a school. It's just like I always say, like, life is but a dream, right? Like, a lot of times I say that, nothing actually really exists and nothing actually belongs to me. Like, these chairs,
physical, like things.
Those things, they're not going to come with me. You know what I mean? Because mm-hmm. when I die, I'm going to go to the fifth dimension, which is the spiritual realm, pretty much. And from there, it's like the only thing that exists in the fifth dimension is love. You know what I mean? Like, oneness, unity. Like, they say like all these other realms outside of earth is actually like very beautiful, like very like loving, and like it's not like earth. Like earth, you come here, you come in a state of amnesia, you don't remember anything, and it's meant to be that way because you are meant to learn lessons. Because why would you come to earth knowing everything but then you wouldn't learn anything?
Yeah, exactly.
But
I actually heard this recently from Canon Dolores.
Yes.
So she was a QHT hypnotist, and she did a lot of hypnotist sessions on people, and they would go into their past lives and explain why people come to earth. And like you said, earth is a school, but she explained it really well, where it's like the reason why we come here in a state of amnesia is because why would you come here? Like, why would you take a test knowing all the answers already?
Exactly.
Then it wouldn't even be a test.
Exactly.
You come here for a reason, a purpose, a mission. And the test is to overcome the things in the third dimension, which is, like temptations, lust, evil, like hatred, all of these lower vibrational things, mm-hmm. Materialistic things, being able to separate yourself from the ego and really live in your authenticity. I like to think of the fifth dimension as kind of like looking at it in the perspective of your chakras, right? The 5th mm-hmm. dimension is your throat chakra. And your throat chakra is all about speaking your truth, expressing your authenticity, and just being like your actual soul self. Like, who are you? Your higher self, almost. Like, fifth dimension is all about being your higher self.
Right, exactly. And that's all. Like, fifth dimensional consciousness is knowing that there's no such thing as division. There's no such thing as like I'm better than you or you're better than me. It's that I am you and you are me. Mm-hmm. Like, we are one. And that goes towards like all things. Like, that's why the earth realm, they've created things like religion. They've created things like, war and evil, a lot of bad things that happen. The same thing with like the spiritual war and the physical war, right? Like, you think that physically things are happening, but really spiritual things are also happening on the other side. Like, that's fighting this duality. Mm-hmm. It's like the hardest thing. They say like you are truly a warrior if you come here as a soul. You chose to come to earth because the earth realm is one of the hardest realms to like learn lessons and to really get through, because there's a bunch of other realms out there, right, that are unknown. But at the same time, like, I have heard, that they are not like Earth. Earth is a lot
It's
more
very
different
heavy. It's very dark.
because the third dimension is the lowest.
Exactly. And I have heard too from like Canon Dolores's like, messages that those other souls on different planets and different like species, starseeds, they actually look up to us.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of people have the courage to come here. Not a lot of people have the opportunity even to come here. You have to have a reason to come here.
Yes.
And it has to be a very like strong lesson.
Yes. That's why it's like I say, like, you come here, you're like a warrior. Like, people, they look at you differently from other realms because they're like, I would not dare go to Earth, because Earth is like the hardest level almost of like, why would you even put yourself in this situation? But the reason why humans do that, right? Or like souls, they come here and incarnate on Earth as a human is because it's for their soul's evolution. They will level up right after, as long as you complete the mission that you were supposed to. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like in the third dimension, that's who we are. That's what we're doing right now. So whatever you choose to do in the third dimension, just make sure that it's kind of like being of service, like loving, and anything you do with love, because the only thing that actually exists is love. But here on Earth, we are so blinded to see that. There's lots of things, the systematic ways that we've lived, even in our own governments, right?
Yes.
Where there's a lot of secrets, guys. There's a lot of hidden things that have been controlling us over the years. And I will say that this is a very controversial like topic, and you can start to get into like conspiracies and things like that. But honestly, now I do want to mention that what's important between the third and the fifth dimension is, of course, the fourth dimension.
Yes.
And we can't get to the to the fifth dimension if we cannot pass the fourth dimension. And right now we're going through this shift. It's called, right now we're going through the age of Aquarius now, because we were actually in the age of Pisces. Pisces is all about delusion, okay? It's all about like controlling delusion. Like sometimes we don't understand like what's actually happening, but it's right in front of us, right?
Yes.
But with the fourth dimension, right now we are living in a time where everything is starting to get exposed to us.
Yes, the veil is lifting.
Yes. And that's why you're going to start to see a lot of people waking up. You're going to start to see people like us coming on our podcast.
And there is a lot of people waking up
Yes.
and a lot of people rising, especially in our Hmong community, right? A lot of
Yes.
people ask, why is there so many Hmong shamans that are rising now? Like, is it just like, people like mental health issues, or what is it? Well, it's because we're shifting into a higher dimension. And in order
Yes.
to do that, people need to wake up and open their eyes, be more conscious. And we need more healers, more light workers to help people wake up and ascend.
And that's why you'll see the number one most like common thing that you'll see in a shaman, a healer, like anybody who has like just the ability to heal, right, is love.
Yes.
That's the only thing that keeps us together. And that's the only way to wake up is through love. And when it comes to, everything that's been happening, I'm talking outside of the world. Like, guys, come on, like P. Diddy, right? Like all these, like the politicians, the people in power, those like celebrities, right? Like, wake up, guys. Like, these are people, celebrities who are feeding our brains. They call it karmic retribution. What they do is that they actually will show you, right, in their music videos, they'll show you what they're doing. They'll show you what they'll promote, like whether it's like sexual things or it's like, like worshiping the devil,
really
satanic,
weird things
yes,
that they make trendy.
Exactly.
And then they throw it off as like, oh, it's a trend, it's a new thing. But really it's like a way for them to show you like, hey, like this is what we're actually doing, but we're gonna label it as a trend so that you actually don't realize that it's
exactly
evil. And you're worshiping these celebrities. A lot of people worship, they look up to these people that they don't even realize are actually doing really dirty things that are under like the cover, under the scenes that they don't put on mainstream media.
But that's why we need to wake up, because like I said, with the whole karmic retribution is that, hey, I'm a celebrity and I'm showing you this. So that means I won't get punished because I'm already telling you exactly what I'm
Exactly.
saying. I'm telling you what I worship. I'm telling you what, I am all about.
And that's why a lot of people say like, oh, why don't these bad people get karma for it? It's because they already like
said it.
Yeah, they told you already, and you like your free will, you allowed them to continue doing that, or to show
Exactly.
you these things, or for you to follow them.
Exactly. And that's just the whole thing is like we, as a collective community, like we cannot like live like this. You know what I mean? Like I was thinking like, gosh, like these trendy music, like these artists who are so big, why are they so big? Why are they number one, guys? Honestly.
Especially the celebrities that all of a sudden just become number one overnight.
Yes.
Like, how does that happen?
And at the same time, we have these music videos, music like people's, like the words are spells, right? Like our children are listening to this stuff. And it becomes like this whole thing of like, they don't know because they're so young, they're not conscious of it yet. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's like nowadays you'll see so many celebrities, talk show hosts, like sports. There's so many different communities, fashion artists, like so many communities out there where you have to be very conscious because it's all connected to, like we say, Hollywood, right? Which is here at the fourth dimension where everybody's starting to get exposed. You'll see celebrities out there, they'll ask, like the paparazzi, right? They'll ask people like, hey, like, what do you think about like P. Diddy, or what do you think about all these things? And nobody talks, because if they talk, they could get in trouble. And that goes for anybody really who's like talking about this stuff in general, like YouTubers.
Yes, there's a lot of people that have tried to come out and expose these things in the
Right.
past, but no one would believe them. And then
Exactly.
shortly after, oh, like this person committed suicide, or this person overdosed. Like, how does that just happen, right?
Right.
And there is actually people that have said like, oh, like, my life is in danger for exposing these secrets.
Yes, exactly. And sorry guys, that was like a whole other thing, but I will say like that's what we're starting to come to, is that we're starting to awaken. And once we begin to expose certain things and we start to really like cleanse out like everything that's actually happening, and like really like open up our minds to like really see what's happening in the real world, that's when the shift will happen. But I will say that there's going to be destruction before there can be light,
Yes, and that's just how it is. That's the cycle of life, is you need to hit rock bottom so that the only way left is to go up.
And that's the third dimension, is duality. We need bad and good. You know what I'm saying? You cannot have good here on earth without the world falling apart first.
And you would not know which is which without the other.
Exactly. And that's just the crazy thing, is like the fifth dimension. Now we talk about fifth dimension on the physical plane. We are supposed to, like, as a collective human, community, we're supposed to start moving into the fifth dimension. So once we're getting into the fourth dimension slowly, and it takes a long time, guys, like it might not even happen in our own time. We don't know, you know what I mean? But at the same time, they say that, well, I know, because like fifth dimension is coming very soon. You're going to start to see lots of holistic health, like people eating better, people sharing. There's no more like currency, money, you know what I mean? Like it becomes like a whole like new life, a new world where people are in peace and they love and they have kindness. I know it sounds really crazy and it sounds nearly impossible, but I will say that if you can at least start with your own self, and know who you are and speak your truth and like find your own self, your own spirituality, your own like belief in whatever you believe in, even if you don't believe in anything, you know what I mean? Like just know like what you can do for your community, because at the end of the day, that's where it all starts, is with you.
Yes, it is true when they say that. When you work on yourself, you're actually helping others.
Exactly.
Because your vibration is like, something where you bring it around to other people, and it actually helps lift their vibration too. So if you're a high vibrational being around other people that are maybe lower frequency, you share your light, you spread your light, you help light other people up too.
And you do this with like your career shift, with your relationship shift, like
Your
everything.
values,
Yes.
and like letting go of that ego.
It's all ego, guys. And the ego is like, it's what blinds us. it's like we cannot see. But once we start to shift into the fourth dimension, then we move to the fifth. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people say like the fifth dimension is almost like a language, you know. I know we talk about that a lot because sometimes we speak here on the podcast and we speak and we say, you know, we're talking in 5D terms, which is very spiritual terms that is hard for the third dimensional brain to comprehend because it's not normal. You know what I mean? It's not normalized here. It's like, what? Like, how do you think like that? It's like one of the biggest examples I can give is like, you have like a boyfriend or girlfriend, right? And your boyfriend or girlfriend has like another friend who's like there to help like with like their spiritual journey or whatever it is. And it's literally nothing more than that. But like our ego is like, oh, I hate her or I hate him, you know? And like, why would they do that? But really, this person is just trying to help, you know? And so it's like you got to let go of your ego and think like, no, we're all one. You know what I mean? Like we're all connected in one and we're all just like trying to help each other, regardless of our gender, regardless of like, you know, like if you're his friend or her friend, you know, like at the end of the day, there's no such envy, no such jealousy. Like that's all made up. It's not real. The third dimension fools you, you know?
Especially when you are operating at a fifth dimension mindset. Like you don't think about like, oh, like that person is talking to my man, like she wants my man. You know, especially if they're spiritual. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you have, use your discernment, but like it's like people that are actually living in the fifth dimension, they don't think about those things. They're not doing things out of like hatred or jealousy or like trying to like out of the ego. That's why we talk about a lot about ego.
Yeah.
Those things are all ego.
Yes.
You know, when you think about jealousy, envy, like hatred or like, you know, those negative like vibrations. When you're spiritual, you're in a fifth dimension, you think about love and sharing your light and spreading that healing energy to others and helping people elevate.
Exactly. And it takes so much to really let that go. You know, like it becomes a whole lifestyle. Like I said, it's a language, you know, like you start to talk in these 5D terms that a lot of people can't comprehend. So like when I talk in my 5D terms, sometimes I know that I have to turn my 5D terms into 3D terms.
Yeah, it is really like
Yeah.
that, especially when we are still like in this middle ground where we're shifting.
Right.
You have to understand there are still some people on this journey where they are going to take a little bit more time to awaken too.
Yes.
And everyone has their own time. You don't just like do spiritual awakening, like it happens to you.
Exactly. And yeah, just living through like authenticity and I think really like learning your own values of what do you value as like a person, a human here on earth, you know? And at the same time, like with your career, like where are you gonna put yourself in the career? Like do you want to be like the number one person, CEO, owner of a huge corporation thing? Which there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong,
Right.
but like, what is your intention behind it? What's your value
Right.
behind it? That's something that really helped me shift my mindset too, is when I started looking at my career as in like, okay, am I being purposeful? Does it
Yes.
make me feel fulfilled? Well, am I like impacting others in what I do on a daily basis, especially if it's like a 9 to 5? Like, are you doing anything to like impact others?
Exactly.
What is, you know, the intention behind it? Are you doing it to make money? Or are you doing it to like be of service? That's how you know, like if you are still operating in the ego mindset, the third dimension.
Exactly. So all of those things, like once you know that you're starting to shift into the fifth dimension, like you'll start to question almost everything, relationships even, you know, like you're going to be like, you might be in a karmic or very toxic relationship. And then all of a sudden you're going to be like, a switch goes off and you're like, I deserve better for myself, you know? And at the same time, like once I let this person go, I know new energy will come in who vibrate at my level. You know, like you're going to start attracting people who are on the same frequency as you. And when you are on the same frequency, like your life becomes a lot more light. It becomes more like easy to resonate with others, easy to connect with people, you know, like you start to really let go of the old and get in with the new, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And it comes back to what you said, love. Love is the highest vibration.
Exactly.
Like even though you really love this person, they could be very toxic and karmic to you. And the best form of like loving them and yourself is to let each other go.
And at the end of the day, there's no hatred, you know?
Yeah,
like
you just want better for the both of you.
and your 5D mindset is like this is not even real. Emotions, feelings, like I just have gratitude, that like you taught me something and that you were an important person in my life during this period of time. And maybe in the next period, maybe we won't talk anymore. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I will never hate you because you have done me so much good.
Yes, you've taught me even through the toxic situations.
Exactly.
And you had to go through that to learn too.
Exactly.
To learn how to love yourself and know what's best for you and what you want for your future.
You really have to let things go, guys, because in the 3D, we are meant to like hold grudges and hate each other, divide, and like keep like dark things within suppressed and within ourselves. It's all like just this dark energy that really just needs to come out, because like I said, on earth is duality. We need both good and bad, right? But you're going to experience that. But how do you become like better, right? Like you let things go, you release old things.
It's called the art of detachment.
Yes.
Because when you still have attachment to the physical, you cannot elevate, you cannot shift to the fifth dimension. You will stay stuck in the 3D because you still hold on to the ego, and the ego wants physical, materialistic things.
Exactly.
Attachments.
Yeah, so don't take everything so seriously sometimes, like sometimes I feel like I always tell people this, like life is just but a dream, and I mean everything that we have is just, it doesn't belong to us, it's not even real.
Yeah.
Sometimes how I feel towards a person, like sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, that's not even real, but it's real here physically, it's real, but like truly, like on the other side, I know I would never hate you because hate doesn't even exist. So like, but here hate exists, but like up there it doesn't. So what is this trying to teach me so that like my heart and my mind and my body, my spirit can grow stronger, is that hate's not real, like we're just conditioned. We live in a systematic world that has conditioned us to divide and separate. And we live under all of these like people who have power and abuse it. You know what I mean? So know exactly like, who your mentors are and who you want to be in the community, what you want to make as an impact in the life that you live, be purposeful, because here in the third dimension, it's hard to get here. Okay. And like, it takes a while to like really know yourself, but life is very fast too. So some of us, like I'm not saying every person here that comes here is like punished or anything like that. That's not even true. A lot of us, that we come here because we actually need to raise Earth's vibration to the fifth dimension. And you don't even know how hard that is, because we need lots and lots of people. You do not have to be gifted. You just have to be somebody who is here to help, somebody who is here to like shift that mindset and kind of like work their way into creating a better life physically, because we are in the third dimension, but at the same time to make that shift happen, especially for our future generations to come, so
Exactly.
that's very important.
It is. In the future generation, I can already see it's going to be so bright. It's going to be so beautiful. These new children that are coming into this age and this time too, like they're all old souls. They're all so like intelligent, bright. And I just think about like how we have such a big, important role in helping them transition too for the generations to
and
come.
Each generation kind of has their own singular purpose too. Like from like boomers till whatever generation it is now. Like, oh my gosh.
Gen Z. Is it still Gen Z?
Alpha and
Oh, yeah.
okay, sorry guys. Yeah. But like the new generation of children that are being born right now, like I always tell all of my siblings, like, oh my God, did you know that your kids are actually older than you? See, that's 5D talk. Like nobody would understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, like their souls are like literally so old. That's why they're so grown, and like the way that they developed versus how maybe we developed as like kids is so different. Like I'm like, wow, like, it's like the technology and everything too. But at the same time, like sometimes I look at my nieces and nephews and I'm like, wow, like you're very advanced, like the way you talk, the way that you think, the way that you want to help people. Because like I'm like, as kids, like did we grow like that? Like, or did that take a little longer? You know, you have to see like the evolution of these children are changing too. Like their, you know, their bodies, their blood type, like everything is starting to change because like spiritually they are coming here a little bit more gifted, you know, and
a lot of them are gifted.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's important to protect their purity,
Yes.
you know, and that starts with you. When you heal yourself, you let go your ego, you heal your traumas so that you don't pass that down to the future generations.
It's all connected, guys. Like we talk about generational trauma.
Yes.
It's all connected. Like literally, if we're not going to be the ones to change that, right? Because we're Gen Z. Yeah. Like if we don't change that, it's going to be up to our children. But as we go on our journey, we do continue to like build this new life for our children, right? And then our children learn that, they learn that for their children. You know, it goes on generations and generations, and you are healing. Like you become, like you start really seeing the shift between the third and the fifth dimension. So, you know, like I said, we might not be here for the fifth dimension. We don't know. But
And if you do come back,
yeah,
why don't you make this place a better place for you to come back to? Right?
exactly. So
And that's what ancestral healing is.
it's all connected, guys. Just remember that we're all connected in one, and love is just the highest force to exist. Like nothing actually is real, you know, like we just have to like learn that we are a, you know, a human, or sorry, we are a soul living in this human experience. And living in this human experience is just for us to learn lessons for our evolution, you know, like we need to be better as souls. And that's why a lot of us, we incarnate here. You know?
Exactly.
So
That was beautiful.
yeah, I know.
It's a lot of information, actually. Like, yeah, sometimes, like, if you're not there yet, this stuff probably sounds crazy.
Right.
Sounds unrealistic, like almost impossible, but that's what the ego tells us.
Yes.
Right?
But you know, we can't live in that ego mindset forever.
Think about the possibilities. That's what I like to think.
Oh yes, 100%.
Possibilities. It's possible. Nothing is impossible.
And just be open-minded, you know, like I always say, like you could always just have hope, you know?
Faith is so powerful.
Exactly. That's all you need, you know?
Yep.
And I know there's a lot of people who have other beliefs too, you know, like those are also right. Like you have to also understand
there is no right
that.
or wrong is
Yeah.
the thing. That's what the 3D is. It's like the ego wants to know what the right is and the wrong is. But the truth is, everything is all connected.
Yes.
And we wouldn't have the other without the other too.
Right. Like
There's like, I like to think of it as like they're all truths that is part of like a whole truth.
Exactly. It's true. And there's so many of us here on earth. Like we can't just have one thing that we all believe, you know? Everybody has so many different ways of believing and understanding how the world works. But your way is also right, you know? Like just because, you know what I'm saying? Like as long as you are doing what your
As long as it's under the vibration of love.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And intention, you know?
Yes.
Like you have to be intentional with everything that you do. And that's what I'm saying is like that's the only thing. It's the only thing that exists in the fifth dimension. But here in the third dimension, multiple things exist. I get that, you know? But how do we shift, right? So this episode is all about shifting that mindset. And if you are looking for that, you know, that shift, like we talk about 5D consciousness, like you'll see symptoms or signs based on pretty much everything we just said. So
yeah, you'll know like when you're shifting because you'll start to be more in alignment with your purpose, your truth, your angels, your spirit guides. Everything will just start to connect for you.
You have lots of happiness, regardless of how much money you have, how much like, you know, anything. Like you really start to feel like true peace and happiness. And that's how you also incur a lot of good karma, you know? So it's just another spiritual way of thinking. So that is the 5D though. So
yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Let us know if you deal with some, you know, 3D things that you're still trying to let go of and how you are learning to shift into a 5D mindset. If anything that we've, you know, put in this episode may help you as well. But yeah, like as always, like, follow, subscribe, and let us know what you think.
Thanks, guys. Bye.